The biggest myth that I keep seeing across the board is all of these various techniques to help your sex life, right? Like as if somebody's cornered that thing. Because if that was actually the case, there would only be one magazine ever sold,
Right.
right?
It would cover it
Because
all.
it would have the list. We all do the list. We're done. Sold. We don't need any more. But yet, no, there's every week there's more 62 ways to make him curl his toes, 32 ways to make her swoon, all these different things. Like, nah, hold on. So all of these things serve a purpose that I keep hearing in my field of you got to have regular date night. You got to make sure you get away. You got to have regular conversation. You got, all these things are great band-aids, but none of them solve the problems of desire, right? Because if you get down to it, look at this as the language, right? That I want to have sex with my wife, but underneath it all, I want her to want to have sex with me, not just have sex with
Yeah.
me. There's a big difference,
Yeah.
right? And we are all capable as humans to understand, and women might have a little more finely attuned radar with this, but we're all capable to recognize the difference between when my spouse just wants to have sex and when they want to have sex with me.
Mhm.
There's a big difference, right? And so that's the stuff I love talking about, teaching on, just helping people see it better to then take the courageous step to call it out more.
Because if I'm somebody that has a responsive sexual desire, which a lot of people do,
Yep.
a lot of women do, and that's been helpful for them to name that. It's okay. I do have actually a sexual desire, but it's responsive.
Yep.
I need to know that you care for me, and then I will respond.
Yep.
Then the
Yeah,
response
but
happens.
well, absolutely. But that's also there's two sides to that dynamic because typically they're going to be married to somebody that's more spontaneous.
Mhm.
There's still a trigger somewhere in there
Yeah.
that's responsive, but it takes less on the threshold
Mhm.
to get them rolling. And so this conversations my wife and I actually have is like there'll be a hint around of what could be going on later that night.
Mhm.
And because she's responsive and she'll be, yeah, you might have to put in some time though. Meaning
And then
I'll
what does
get
that do
there.
for you? How does that make you feel?
Well, there's sometimes it's like I'm totally up for it. And sometimes it's like, yeah, I don't have the energy to put that in tonight. So I'll catch you later, kind of a thing. It's just how do we have better conversations to name this dynamic? Because that's the kind of stuff I think helps empower people the best in their life.
Yep.
Because again, there are times where one of you is a certain way, and then there will be a time where that shifts.
Mhm.
And that's what throws people off too, is when a lower desire partner, that's always been a lower desire, all of a sudden has a moment of higher desire. Most of the time, the higher desire partner is all like, I just would love it if you would initiate. I would just love it if you would just take me by the hand and throw me down and go.
Mhm.
And then when they actually do it, it freaks the higher desire out so much they shut it down,
Yeah.
which is a huge wound, quote unquote.
Mhm.
It's not, it's a hit
Mhm.
to the lower desire that mustered all that it took to get them to that point. They actually try it out.
Mhm.
Then they got shot. And now you further ingrain that trench between you. And that's the kind of dynamics I like to help
Yeah.
give people a picture of and start to just see, okay, how are you a better higher desire? How are you a better lower desire? How do you deal with the polarity that goes on here? Because that actual polarity, to quote Esther Perel, is talking about the idea of the erotic exists between you.
Mhm.
Being able to play in that realm and hold on to yourself better is what helps create something so much deeper, not just in your sex life, in your whole life.